So far, trying to do the Forest Gump thing.
Okay. All right. Starting out with the minutes.
I already talked to Maureen, there was one change. Needed to add Tom Kyle to the Brockway Preservation Association. And she did, so that'll be in the panel. With that,
Amazing work together.
yes. And with that, I'll make a motion that we accept the village board minutes of April 25th with that addendum.
I'll second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Let's see, treasurer's report, payment of bills. F&G fund vouchers 214 through 242, $37,308.77. A fund vouchers 73 through 84, $76,745.35. P&A fund vouchers number 9, $215.
I'll make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report as written. And authorize the payment of the bills.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, unanimous. All right, over to the floor. Once, twice, thrice. Okay, old business, new business, National Grid. Look how fast we got to you, right? It's like 6:02. Wherever, yeah, well, that's probably be good. That way the camera.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Piper. I'm from National Grid. I just been up in Marcellus, I'm just struck right now.
You're getting all immigrants here, right? Or is that,
No, that's on Doggett.
Onondaga County.
but that Marcellus is on Doggett County,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
Isn't it coming to your town?
I haven't heard that.
No, it was right where the candlewood.
Wait till she gets home.
Yeah, they're throwing all the people that live there and rent there out, so they get more money from the state.
All right, on that.
Sorry about that, Dr. Brown.
Okay. All the meters, the electric and in our gas service territory as well, the old Niagara Mohawk service territory. Here it really affects just electric service. The meters that are there, the AMR meters, those are about 20 years old, so we're ready to put new meters in no matter what, but we've gone with the next generation smart meters. So we're pretty excited about this. When it'll help us manage the distribution system better service and reliability. It'll actually provide information for customers to have more control over their energy usage. One of the things that we want to make sure is that we're getting out in the community to let people know that they're going to get a new meter. We have a customer engagement plan where about 60 days out from getting their meter installed, they'll get a letter saying, hey, your smart meter is on the way. About 30 days out, they'll get that brochure. I left some more brochures in the office, but they'll get that brochure. Then about 10 to 7 days out from installation, there'll be a notification based on how customers have indicated they like those notifications, whether it's text, phone, or email. And then once the meter is installed, the service person will leave a door hanger. So this is one of the things I spent the past 2 Mondays at the Cortland and the Holman Library. And the questions that do come up is, how am I going to know when the meter is coming? And do I have to be home? So no, you don't have to be home for that. There is a brief service interruption. So when you see your door hanger, chances are you're going to have to reset your clocks too. But we just want to make sure that customers are comfortable with that. What these, some of the features of these meters, they'll allow customers to go online, log in, and see their near real-time energy usage, so they can better understand when they're using energy, where they might be able to save, like, oh, kids are home from college, or oh, I had a party and kind of went up. It'll also, we should be able to know when there's an outage. What we're trying to tell people is, in the first year, if you have a power outage, call like you normally would. Just, we want to make sure this is all working, but it should just come right up. Our systems seem to be working at this point. We've put in about a dozen meters in Fabius. We've put another dozen in Homer, and we keep putting them in. We're really starting this project Homer, Fabius, for the city of Portland. Will expand out. We're also headed into Moravia. We'll head north to Syracuse, Onondaga County, then east and north, and wrap around to western New York. So that'll take about 4 years to put all the 1.6 million meters, and along with the gas meters too. So in our gas service territory, we have both. So we do have a video that's a little bit more fun than me talking. So I wanted to share that. We're going to play that one. And this is available if you.
National Grid customers, there's a new face in town. It's called a smart meter. And just like your other smart devices, it's the latest advancement in technology designed to make your life easier and more efficient. Now, the energy you're using in your home or business can be more accurately managed, providing you greater control of your energy consumption, which in turn gives you the opportunity to lower your bills. Now, here's what you need to know about your upcoming installation. National Grid will make this a seamless process. In many cases, you don't even have to be home. A typical installation takes our technicians just minutes to complete, and they can make any adjustments for those with special medical needs to assure their safety during installation. Once in place, your smart meter will start delivering near real-time usage data, giving you the kind of information you need to stay in control of how much energy you're using. Your smart meter will also allow you to receive alerts, improved outage detection, billing updates, and individualized energy-saving tips right to your My Account portal. In addition, you'll be able to track the energy efficiency of your major appliances. Rest assured, your energy data is safe, secure, and transmitted on a private network. These advancements in technology help us achieve a more efficient, resilient energy grid. It's just one of the ways to ensure all of us have a cleaner, more sustainable future. Smart meters help our customers make smarter choices, take more control, and use less energy. Using less energy means saving more money, and that will put a smile on anyone's face.
So there you have it. It is exciting, and I'm working with the second Saturday Farmers Market people. I'm hoping on June 12th, I'll be set up at the library as well. And full of brochures and tchotchkes and things like that. And what we're finding, the people I've talked to mostly at the libraries have been more mature.
Right.
And so they just generally, they want to know, how will I know? And do I have to be home? And do you come inside? We don't have to come inside if your meters on the outside, and most of the meters are on the outside.
Most of the village should be ready for this because we just did this with the water meters.
I've heard, that's
So-
exciting.
So and the fact that you guys don't have to go inside will make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
So yeah, there shouldn't be any.
All right, well, if you have any questions, Tanya knows how to get a hold of me. If you have any questions right now, I can field those, but I can get off your agenda. Don't you get
I
on?
do. When, so you said you already started a couple of meters in Homer.
Yes.
So does that mean that more, I mean, how,
We'll be doing home, so the way the billing cycles work is there's 1 week a year that we can't work in Homer, or 1 week a month that we can't work in Homer and Portland, so that's why we're in Fabius. And so we'll do like 3 weeks going through Homer and the city of Portland. And then once we get that going and we're bouncing back to Fabius, we're gonna be expanding in Portland County, going over to Moravia by mid-June, so there'll be some balancing there, and then up into Cazenovia and a little bit in Madison County, and then get up to Syracuse.
Any anticipation of when the village would be done? The village of Homer?
It should be, I mean, we're working on it now, but very slow progress. Right
Right.
now, we are using our own crews for installation.
Right.
Well, we are onboarding our vendor for installation, July 31st.
Okay.
So we're working with them, but right now we're just doing this very tempered rollout to make sure we're producing bills the way we're supposed to. We're getting all the reads. Everything's, knock on wood, going well for us.
Okay.
So yeah, so this summer you guys should be done it.
Fantastic.
oh, wow, okay, so
Yeah.
that was gonna be my other question, is how long do you think it would take to finish the village?
It should be done because we should be out of this area and moving more into Onondaga County by September-ish, September, October.
We won't hold you to that.
Okay.
We know stuff happens.
Yeah.
And then the one thing the video points out for customers that are registered, we call them life support or medical emergency. We schedule appointments. So those meters have a white tag on them anyway. So if someone comes up, they go, oh, we've got to make sure we have an appointment before we do this. But we already have that coded. So we'll work with those customers too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. And hopefully I'll see you. Well,
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. See here. Next up, approve Nate Forrest as fire department vice president.
I'll make a motion that we approve Nate Forrest as the fire department vice president. Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, next up, approve Village of Homer Fire Department rules and regulations.
I had a couple of questions. For the.
Man's gonna murder you.
If you guys have, it's on page 10, under the qualifications to become and maintain membership, section 3.
Yes.
A member of the department who has served 1 year, 12 consecutive months, whose legal residence changes to an area protected by another fire department contiguous to the boundaries of the Homer Fire Department. Can they stay?
Yes. That means they could stay,
Means,
right?
It just kind
I
of,
don't want to answer. So,
So if you move into Cortlandville district, that means you could still stay in the Homer.
And
Department.
part of what it has been is when, like, we lost the Cortlandville district,
right,
we allowed those people to maintain membership because they already belonged to us. It wasn't their fault that they did that. Summerhill was the same thing.
right,
So we have some people in those areas, but they have to live in a contiguous district if for some reason they move. So they can't live in the village of McGraw.
Right,
It's not contiguous. So if they serve 12 months, and then we also, there's a requirement by village law that only allows a certain percentage of people outside of the district.
right.
So we have to maintain
If
it.
I remember right, reading through that, there was another section that covered the same thing, kind of.
Yeah, it just kind of, I just wanted to make sure we were.
One might add a few words to it to say that they may maintain their membership.
Right, that's all I was asking for, man, was I just want, I thought that's was, but I don't want to interpret that, and I,
Well, that's the title of the article.
I think it's confusing
Qualifications to
because it looks
become
like
and
that-
maintain.
Section 2 is talking about who can be a member. And so just the fact that it says section 3 as a subheading kind of breaks that up. So
Yeah.
maybe delete section 3 or add a few words.
I was just gonna say, man, just say it may remain.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that, just to, for my infantry mind, it makes it very clear.
I don't want to object to that.
And
I don't know about the president, but
then,
I see that would clarify that. I mean, we've always known what it meant, but.
yeah, right. Or for those of us that aren't as familiar, I think, and for outside sources, it would just make it less room for any issues. Page 14. Section B at the top. It's a Scrivener's error. Must be able to pass physical examination commensurate with the duties, must be at least 20, but then parentheses, it's 21. Is it 20 or 21?
Stand by, that's it. Fire police, they have to be 21.
Okay.
The
So,
one is missing in the written. Because they actually serve as peace officers, you sworn them in,
okay,
so they have to be 21.
Good catch.
I think that might have changed in that class we had. I think they lowered it. But listen,
The back of
Jim,
the.
for us.
Yeah, let's not muddy it right now, shall we?
I wouldn't say if you see it somewhere else,
Right.
we can leave it for our fire department.
I just want to make sure they matched up, whether it's 20
No, it's 21,
or 21.
yes.
I just want to make sure they match.
No, it is 21, so we have to add the ONE to the 20.
Yep. And that was, everything else I'd like to commend everybody that took part in this to make this happen.
It's so nice. God, that was easy. It's- I told help them at the minute, since if you guys are going to go through this, I'm gonna kill you. Sorry, like, we've been along for them, so
Yeah.
we just like to get it.
All right,
And it was nice of you to let us look at it. I mean, you didn't have to. You guys could have done, you have the ability to make rules and regulations. And it was nice to sit with Tanya and Dante and just review them and go through and make sure we were all on the same page. So it's, nothing really changes from the way we're operating now, but it's just kind of pared down for that portion. So
good.
Do we need a motion?
Mhm.
I will make a motion that we approve the Village of Homer Fire Department rules and regulations with those two corrections.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
these will be part of the employee handbook for us.
Mhm.
This whole thing will be a section that they'll, once you approve them, she'll get the corrections made, and then we'll all get them. So,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, so unanimous. Next up, approve resolution authorizing the village's consent for the formation of the Homer Fire Department Inc. as a 501c3.
Yahoo, finally.
Kevin, do you want to cover that one?
Just thank you guys for finally getting that done. I'll make a motion to accept that.
I will.
One last little step.
Oh, he's got.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yep. All right.
Resolutions authorizing the incorporation of the Homer Fire Department, Inc. Whereas members of the current unincorporated association, generally known as the Homer Fire Department, desire to form and incorporate the Homer Fire Department, Inc. as a special not-for-profit corporation and seek to obtain the approval and consent of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Homer. And whereas not-for-profit corporation law, section 44F, requires the consent and approval of the Village of Homer to the formation of a fire corporation, and that the certificate of incorporation therefore shall have endorsed thereon or annexed thereto the approval signed and acknowledged of the Board of Trustees as the authority of such Village of Homer. And whereas the Board of Trustees has received a proposed certificate of incorporation for the Homer Fire Department, Inc. as a fire corporation, and whereas the board has considered the proposed certificate of incorporation of the Homer Fire Department, Inc. as fire corporation, and whereas the board, after due deliberations, finds it in the best interest of the Village of Homer and the residents and taxpayers of the Village of Homer to approve and consent to the proposed formation of a fire corporation and the certificate of incorporation of the Homer Fire Department, Inc. as authorized by law and these resolutions. Now therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Homer hereby approves and consents to the formation of the Homer Fire Department, Inc. as a fire corporation. And it is further resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Homer hereby approves and consents to the certificate of the incorporation of Homer Fire Department, Inc. attached to these resolutions. And it is further resolved that the majority of trustees of the board are hereby authorized and directed to execute the approval and consent by village board also attached to these resolutions, which upon approval shall be annexed in such certificate of incorporation, and which such approval shall be signed and acknowledged pursuant to not-for-profit corporation law 404F.
Okay, so I make a resolution, a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the village's consent for the formation of the Homer Fire Department, Inc. as a 501c3.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And so this makes it, all the donations to you guys now should be tax deductible, correct?
Right, we've got a few things that right now are in the works that until we actually get with the accountant and get the tax exempt status. So we're still running with the old 501c4,
Right.
which is not 100%. But as soon as that's done, we're gonna get rid of that EIN and all that, and it will all be here. We talked to Dante with that and Tanya and
Yeah, Tanya explained that there'll be a little bit of overlap
Yeah.
so that there's no lack of coverage.
right. Yeah, so we don't go through this not being able to have fundraisers and all that again, since how we are now, it's tax exempt, and you can look it up online. That we meet that criteria, but so we don't screw it up and miss it. We'll get this one in place, and then when we know everything is good and clear, we'll get rid of the other one, and there'll only be the one.
Perfect.
So,
Very good.
well, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Malin, thank you and your guys.
Can,
again
uh,
for-
No more drilling on the pig now, right?
Yes. Can you let me know when I can get a copy of that that's been executed, so I can get it to the attorney and have him file all the papers and make it
Good.
hunky dory? Okay,
All right, reach out to you.
thank you, Dan. I just have a question, and that it's up to you guys, but I see M is discuss the possible tax exemption.
Yes.
If you have any questions that I might be able to, I've been working with different folks on that. I don't know if you do or what, if you want to move that for a minute or you want to wait.
Well, we can, I don't have any,
We can move it up.
yeah, we can move it up, if it's okay with everybody else.
Okay with me.
Fine.
A couple $100 maximum, so it's,
Well,
anything we can do to help you guys.
I did it for my property and I'm not assessed very much. And for me, as it stands at the moment, it's a 10% reduction in your assessment. So by the time you figure the tax rate and all that, and what do we count, 11 or 12?
There's, I think, you just told me it was 15. in that.
15, so there's 15 approximate
That was,
members
there might be
that
more.
live in the village and own property. We've got a bunch that rent. So it only applies to them. But for my house, if the school district doesn't go on board with it, I'm better off taking the income tax exemption. That's $200. The firefighters groups are looking to try to up that to 800, I think. And in that case, it's still going to be the better choice. But they're also lobbying to make us eligible for both.
Okay,
So for me, I'd be eligible for the village, town and county.
right,
And with the numbers for all those, right now as it stands, I'm better off with the $200 income tax. So if you got somebody that's got, $100,000 plus home or something like that, it may end up being different, but I don't think it's gonna be a tremendous chunk of change out of the village coffers, if
No.
you will, for the number of folks that we have that actually live here and own property, so.
yeah, it kind of seems like the least we can do, so.
Yeah.
Given that they run into.
And they have to request it. If they don't request it, then it's not applicable, so.
Well, I hope you guys bugged up and requested.
Yeah, I did.
That's true that we have to, the assessor and they have to go through that route to do it, but. Yeah, I think there'll probably be a few, but
We will.
as it is right now, it doesn't, do me any good, so. But
Because right now it's one or the other.
yes,
Yeah.
but the fire organizations in New York State are lobbying to make it both,
Yeah,
so you can get both
and then
income tax and the property tax.
you guys still have to register with the assessor,
Yes,
so.
there's a process for folks, it doesn't happen automatically.
Right,
Except for somebody like me and him, we've been in 20 years, then it does become automatic once we apply for it.
Yeah.
So,
but it won't take, even if we pass this right now, they still gotta get it and it won't take effect until next year.
Yeah.
right,
Yes,
right.
Yeah, so-
Yeah.
and everybody's got a pass, right?
No, each municipality can be, but again, it's the value and, what the tax rate returns.
Just school districts and then we own.
Well, for some of the bigger homeowners with larger assessments, the school district won't make a difference because their reduction between town, village and county will be greater than the $200. So people that have a more luxurious home than my little 2-bedroom, place, it probably will be beneficial for them to take it. But again, you take the 10% off the top of the assessment and multiply the tax rate for each one. Yeah.
All right,
Everyone.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we.
what?
have a public hearing and everything else.
Oh, that's what we gotta do. So,
Right.
Yeah, there's a whole process
Okay.
that you guys. have to go through too.
I
Yeah,
withdraw.
so let's, we'll just,
It was just discussion, but. I
yeah.
didn't get it.
so based on the discussion, let's move forward with it, I
Yeah.
think, yes.
so. I think what Kevin really wanted to say was, let's move forward. with the
Yeah,
public
that's-
hearing.
That's what,
Well, that's what I said.
exactly what you said, that's what I heard.
I thought that was in here. Oh, yeah, notice of public hearing. So
Those are
we'll,
all various other communities that have done it, so
Yeah.
it's not ours.
but we can use one of those.
Yep, yep.
Very good. All right,
Thank you very much.
no, thank you
Ladies
guys.
and gentlemen.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Before you guys go, I had an idea for a fundraiser. Cause you guys got the field days coming up and you really don't do a whole lot other than that. But there's plenty of room because you got room for a carnival. But if you had like a food truck festival out there, little beer and wine, you know how much that would draw? Well, Jimmy's thinking the same.
That's his
I,
detail. I think there's some.
let's get June 9th and 10th passing.
Okay, but just do it later in the fall. You know, like late September, early October,
That's a great time.
because a friend of mine went, I was supposed to go with him, but I couldn't. He said it was just amazing. There would be a huge fundraiser for that.
Yeah,
I mean, just look into
You ever
it.
been to Moravia, Money Mania? They do, they get about $148,000.
That's the
I
one.
told
you-
Dave Barber, what you need to do is just do hamburgers, hot dogs, sausage, some salads, and buy 3,000 boxes of those pull-up tabs, you'd make a kill. That's the lines were longer for there than they were the beer.
I mean, what you guys going to do
Those
is great.
pull-out tabs, I'm talking, I'm walking by tables like you guys was in there, maybe not picking on you, a woman was in there, and it was higher than her head and 3 feet out on the line. All the work, they're just pull-up tabs, she said.
Get into those.
Yeah.
And if you sell everything in the box, it's set up for you to make money. It's good for people, even the people next to me for
people love gamble.
If you did the food truck thing. it would be-
50/50, the first one was $12,000, the second one at 3 o'clock was up, it was 10,000, so they made, that was payout. The 50/50, whatever.
You guys want to stick around for the firefighter?
I'm gonna just to make sure I just.
Here we got
You got the
Jay.
chief out there.
Hey, chief.
Hi, how's everybody?
No Little League game tonight?
This is like.
No, fire school. That's one of the other things. Tonight's fire school, so heading down to that afterwards.
All right, next up, approve Michael Hobart's fire department membership application pending physical.
I'll make a motion that we approve Michael Hobart's fire department membership application pending physical.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Next, approve Michael Gates fire department membership application pending physical.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Very good.
They both have their papers and actually Mr. Gates is what's the Tuesday, Thursday, when they get his physical, so
Excellent.
I'd like to get them both in by next. Whatever Moore's meeting is.
Very good. Very good. Thanks, Tim.
The other one be a good one, because we have 2 deputy sheriffs in the company now.
Oh, all right, good.
Now we're short for 2 troopers.
Not literally.
Well, actually, the 2 troopers.
I hope he didn't say she.
Actually, started from the hometown, so one of them's very interested. We gotta get it in.
Oh, good.
That's okay, I'm kind of first one.
Sure, yeah.
Thank you.
Jay, anything for us?
Like I said, fire school's this whole week. So if you see anything down at the fire station, it's just firefighters doing some training. It's a spring fire school. You might see an influx of physicals. We're trying to get everybody up to date, so that's more of a Tanya thing when she sees that she's got to pay out some physicals, but we have that in our line item. Also, the 542 committee, we met, kind of spoke of this briefly, but we're going to go with the utility box type style. It fits for our needs for the fire department, and we're still working on quotes, but we have that in our radar, just so you're aware. I know that was a topic of discussion as far as the past year or two about replacing that piece of apparatus. So we are diligent on that.
Excellent. Very good.
Anything for me?
I got one for you, Jay, though. We talked a while back in reference to the sign in the front of the fire station. I'm not sure if you and Malin or whoever have talked, but would you guys be ready to present a presentation? When and if?
Yeah. Anytime you want, Mr. Slack, we're ready. I'm gonna drag Malin in on this with me. He doesn't really know it, but he's part of it, so.
I know the other 2 entities are ready to go. I just wasn't sure if you guys, when asked or called upon, would be ready to go.
I'm 100% on board with you and whatever you want, and I will be ready whenever you ask. I'm here for you guys, and
All right, perfect. Thanks, Jay.
Thanks, Jeff. Okay, next up. Review full environmental assessment form part 1 for the Newton Water Works water tank. Taylor?
Good evening. How is everyone?
Good. Not too shabby.
All right, so I'm actually going to let Jacqueline do the introduction here for our seeker for the water tank.
Nice to see you all again. As we talked about last week, we got to get started on the seeker process and bond resolution in order to get everyone prepared for that via funding application later in July. So this is the first step that we need to do. We first need to go through that full environmental assessment form. We put it together on our end, and I believe I sent that over to Dan. So you guys should see that in front of you. I can go through and just point out a couple key highlights. We went through and answered a lot of the questions. We've gone through this process before, so it should seem pretty familiar to most of you. But we go through things like looking at the zoning for the area for the water tank, which is a residentially zoned area, but there is already a tank there, so it really won't change too much about the use of the property. There's estimated about 3 acres of disturbance. And we're looking at a construction period of 1 construction season where there's going to be some equipment there that might cause some increase in noise just for that construction period and during the normal working days of Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. So there's a few things that we have to point out. We also looked at where the water is going to be coming from, which is going to be provided by the existing system, which has the capability to provide for this tank. Because this new tank will replace the 2 outdated tanks that really aren't in use right now. We looked at such things as what the flood area is in the village, and the tanks are well outside of any flood areas. So we don't have any concerns there. And then we also used the DEC website to look at any threatened or an endangered species that might be in the area. Couple that came out were the monarch butterfly and the long-eared bat. So we are going to be in those habitat areas, but that's something that the DEC website tells us that we're in the area for. We also are next to a cemetery. That site is next to a cemetery. So one of the groups that will let know about this project is SHPO. So they'll be aware of this project and will have a chance to comment on it. And overall, this project's pretty straightforward. So we have the form all filled out for you guys for you to review. If it all looks good on your end, that would be something, Hal, that you would sign and date and get ready to go. And Dan indicated that after tonight, if all goes well with the form and the resolution, that's something that we could get started tomorrow on our end, notifying the appropriate parties. And then again, there's that 30-day window of which they can respond back. So just looking at our schedule, that gives us the 30 days before the first July meeting. We would have a chance to move forward with the next steps then. And that would get us everything done in time for that end of July application period.
Jacqueline, I had some questions reviewing it. On page 2, is the project site located in a community with an approved local waterfront vitalization program? Does that, Ed did that?
We're not. That's what they said. We get the 10 points because they turned it in. So we have an LRIP.
Yeah, the village has an
We just
LRIP.
haven't got it final, but we're approved. That's what she said. Remember when I called what's her,
For grant purposes,
for grant purposes, we have an LRIP.
but I'm not sure for,
This,
so, yeah, that was the right answer, because it's not approved yet.
So it's not approved.
it's not.
It's not, it's not approved to where the DEC is gonna take it to.
Okay. That was my question on the one. And then You listed, the parks, you listed Yeaman Park and Beaudry Park. But what about Durkee and Newton?
Are those both located within the 5 miles of the project?
Oh, yeah. I
Likely,
mean,
yeah.
They're the ones that are in the village.
Durkee and Newton are actually in the village. Yeaman and Beaudry are outside the village.
So what I would suggest there is certainly this form can be amended tonight. And, you know, if we missed a park or two, as you guys are mentioning, maybe we could just take note of that. And then that is the form that Hale signs, is the amended form. You know, it could be redlined, or we could, you know, send a new one with these updates.
I mean, because wouldn't be the more parks that this serve kind of strengthen? Or not?
I don't know if it matters.
But it would definitely be more accurate.
So it's actually Newton Waterworks, Newton and Yeaman.
Yeah.
So we just want to make sure if we're going to amend anything or redline some comments, whatever those changes are, we'll incorporate those, and, you know, this form gets sent out to those involved agencies with the intent to be lead agency notice.
On page 11, the average depth of the water table on the project site is listed as 1 foot. Is that correct?
So that's coming just from some generic, you know, DEC's with their mapper website these days. So we haven't done any soil borings, of course, to confirm that. Just going off of generic DEC website information.
Okay.
We typically would keep it that way for now. And then obviously, as we move forward with the project and get to that soil boring phase, then we would confirm that water table depth.
Okay. And the last question I had was the yellow lamp mussel. The proposed water tank is on the top of a hill. There are no water streams, rivers nearby. Why do we have the yellow lamp mussel on here?
It's that same DEC website that kind of has a coverage area for these different species. I don't disagree with you at all. If we wanted to, we could remove that.
Because we're going through a mussel survey for a dam removal project. I don't want to have to go through a mussel survey on the top of the hill for a water tank project.
So
Asinine.
it would be, obviously, and I wouldn't expect that. But whether we check the box or not, or we list the mussel or not, that would get determined by DEC in a permit application that is really separate from the seeker. So our typical approach with these is looking at the DEC resource mapper. Whatever comes up, we relay onto this form, just so that nobody can question us at a later date.
Got it. I don't think a muffin survey will come up.
It shouldn't even be on here.
It'd be laughed out of there.
Yeah, you know,
It is absolutely
yeah.
a state bureaucracy that,
Don't get me started.
yeah, that's all I had. And I know you guys are pulling this information off the DEC site, but it's one of those things where they're putting information on a site and they've never been to the location and it makes no sense.
True.
Second.
All right, so you guys can amend, you just, for the parks, just add Newton Waterworks Park, Newton Park, and Durkee Park.
Astroline affected in there?
There's a second spot to add parks on page 13.
Yeah, there's one, yeah, like, that's there too.
That's in the town.
That's in the town.
That's in the town. No, we have the little, we have the pond, Castleline Pond.
That's outside the village.
What's
It
the?
doesn't care about the town village, it's about.
Turkey,
it's about-
okay, yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's within 5 miles. So yeah, we would have to add Casterline Farm.
Casterline Park, yeah.
It's a state site too, right?
Yeah.
Got that, little pool there.
Yeah, it's not Casterline Pond, Casterline is
There's
one north of that.
on the Commodore on that, by the way. Prior administration allowed me to use the Commodore to sail my radio control boat so I could put a canoe on it. There's no boats allowed on it. In case my radio control sailboat got stuck. Previous mayor approved me, so people normally call me the Commodore now.
Well, there you go.
I like it.
All right, so you guys can email an amended form and I'll sign that tonight.
And we have to do another resolution, Dan?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, hit it.
Resolution declaring the intent of the Village of Homer Village Board of Trustees to act as lead agency. Whereas the Village of Homer is proposing the Village of Homer new water storage tank project located in the village and town of Homer, Portland County, New York. And whereas the project has been classified as a type 1 action as defined by State Environmental Quality Review Act in 6 NYCRR Part 617.4, and whereas it is the intent of the Village of Homer Village Board to assume the role of lead agency for the purpose of conducting a secure assessment of the project. And whereas part 1 of the full environmental assessment form has been completed, reviewed by the Village Homer Village Board, and will be circulated to all interested and involved agencies for purposes of establishing the Village of Homer Village Board as lead agency in accordance with 6 NYCRR Part 617.6B. Now therefore be it resolved and determined that the mayor of the Village of Homer hereby is authorized to sign part 1 of the fee, page 13, and it is further resolved and determined that the Village of Homer will send said part 1 of the fee and associated site figure to the attached list of interested and involved agencies under cover of a notice of intent to establish lead agency letter for purposes of establishing lead agency status under the Sikora SERP. And it is further resolved that the mayor of the Village of Homer and the Village Board, together with the Village of Homer attorney and DNL, are hereby authorized to take all action, serve all notices, and complete all documents required to give full force and effect to this determination.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution declaring the Village Board of Trustees lead agency.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, thanks very much. If you guys shoot down the amended one, I'll sign it tonight before I leave.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, next, approved budget adjustments. I just had one question on the Bernards. Is that how much those plaques were? That can't be right.
Where are you?
Encumbrances.
Second page, years of service pins, is that?
Oh, years of service pins. That's
Yep.
the part.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
those were.
I thought they were the plaques, the 2 plaques that we got
Oh.
for Joan. I was like, jeepers creepers.
No, they ordered extra too, so they didn't have to, so they have a few on hand in case they ever miss anyone.
Perfect.
They had the money.
Fantastic. That clears that up. All right. Let's see, we need to,
I'll make a motion, we accept the adjustment to stated.
Second.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approve carrying forward budget of 2022-23 encumbrances.
So this is a common thing that we do every year. It's the same thing as those years of service. It's items that are ordered at the end of last year but not received. So
Yeah.
the budget has to carry forward to cover them.
Got it.
I'll make a motion that we approve carrying forward the budget of 2022-2023 for the encumbrances.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good. And approve authorizing a request for quote for the river trail.
Dan, do it, because he's the one who most.
You asked for the RFQ there.
No, I asked
You're-
for it. Well,
you're very-
you're talking with you. This is what you recommended. So I wrote it down and Dan did not change it. So, and I asked him, he said this is exactly what we need to do. So I think it's because of,
Which is all type river trail, we need a through engineers assessment and or also a project plan for what exactly this
Which helps.
river trail is going to actually look like. what the components are and what the actual cost may be.
Yeah, it
Before
can't
we-
be just
before
those
we-
things we've been turning in saying, hey, we need $7 million.
Well, I mean, in the larger grant applications for the KC site and things like that, there was, River Trail was discussed in there and things of
Yeah.
that nature, but not a true engineer's report for it. So this would be an ask and a few sent out, who is the interested party that has the talents and the resources to do that, what we ask. And then you guys put a not to exceed of some amount, whatever amount you want to do. And then we would set that out and get it done. But if we want to do an application for this go around, we obviously need to do that quite post haste.
All right,
Well, we do have a half a mile that we own. We did get the DRI, so I know that they're, you know, in the LRIP had the river trail in it. They call it the Blue River Trail. They call it something different.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's the same thing, so why not ask for it? So, and like I said, we get 10 extra points on LRIP.
I'm all for it because if nobody's ever been down there in that area behind, was it Wall Street or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
The potential there is just unlimited.
yeah,
Well, we want to go all the way down to,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. But
Damon someday. So what this does is it gives us gravitas with this.
Would just be an actual something to
Yeah,
hang our hat on.
real numbers and it's real design, kind of, not complete, because 10 grand isn't gonna get you a design. But it gets you qualified numbers that
Strong
aren't me pulling
concept.
them out of my butt.
Also, we need to determine exactly what section of this trail you actually want to propose.
No, we want it all, but what we'll do is we'll divide it up in edible chunks.
Right.
Because they only fund like $2 to $3 million at a time from history, remember? So we'll have to take it over like a 4-year period.
So it makes sense to do this now. I mean,
yeah.
And we've been wanting to do this forever. It's in our comprehensive
Can we
plan.
use a
CDBG.
Yeah, I always want to say the other.
There and CBD.
To fund this or no?
I would say, I think, but I'll let Tanya speak.
Yeah, I believe we could use it too, and there is some funds there unallocated, so.
There you go.
Well, for just even the RFP, we don't need to have funds yet until when we can put it out an RFP.
Well, RFQ is to have them come up with what they think it would cost. So it's not an RFP to actually do the work. You wouldn't do that until you won the contract or won some money from the state, right?
Well, we still have to find out who we want to do the design work. Don't we have to do it?
That's what they are.
Oh,
But that's what the RFQ
Oh,
does.
okay.
It brings
you
in
think
all,
$10,000
it
is a
brings in
reasonable
all the
start?
bidders.
I think so. I mean, you could certainly say a higher amount and not to exceed, so.
We also have ARPA funds. You'll see we didn't spend all of it in the backstop, which is 2,200, but you know, it adds up all the way through. So ARPA funds can be used for it.
So I'll make a motion that we have a not to exceed 10K. And is pretty smart on putting out RFQs, and we've been feeding this river trail for years and years. So this gets us, and we did the LRIP, we're looking good. I mean, we got this roll with the DRI. I think our, you know,
Let's keep it rolling.
keep it rolling. We got.
And make the motion.
I did make the motion. I make the motion not to exceed 10K to write an RFQ, which Dan will do.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There we go. All right. Approve holding a public hearing to use $40,000 in warrant department reserves for the purchase of a vehicle.
This is a truck we already have. We kind of didn't do what we need to go backwards.
Okay, well, then we should approve that.
Yeah.
I think we better.
Make a motion that we hold a public hearing to use that $40,000 in water department reserves.
I'll
for
second that.
purchasing a vehicle.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay. We already discussed the exemption as a go. First DRI local planning committee meeting is June 1st, 2023 at the Center for the Arts, I believe, from is it 2:30 to 4:30?
I believe so.
2 or 2:30, yeah.
It is 2:30 or
2:30 to 4:30. And public is definitely welcome. And come on out, you'll have a chance to speak at the end. and ask a few questions, and there will also be more detailed public input sessions where, you know, you get to vote on what you think the most transformative projects are. And we'll definitely keep everyone in the village apprised of those too, so that folks can come out and make their voices heard on this because it's important. And Memorial Day activities update. You know, we've got the parade, what starts at 9.
Yep. Lineup for us, I think, is
Line at
8:30.
8:30, starts at 9, ends at cemetery. Is Cindy's?
She is going to be the guest speaker.
Okay. So it's one of the best days in the village. So hopefully people come out for the parade and for the ceremony in the cemetery.
It'd be nice weather.
All right, Dante, any comments?
No comments for me. Thank you, though.
All right. Board members, Ed,
No, looking good.
Nothing to add.
Kevin,
Just reiterating the idea of a fundraiser for the fire department.
I love it.
I think that would be.
I love the food truck fund. If they don't do it, we'll get some, if they don't want to do it, we'll get like the scouts or somebody, you know, we'll do a fundraiser. I mean, that's a great idea. And in the fall, we kind of lack.
Yeah.
Right, we jam everything into the summer.
We got a lot going on, but
Let's tack it on to something like National Night Out. I don't think that we have food vendors.
We should have food vendors and things like that for sure. And Broadway and all that. But I love the idea of, because if you have a food truck festival, you bring in a lot of, you know, like a lot of trucks, they'll come from a long way, yeah.
and just, I will not be able to attend the DRI meeting. I'm gonna be in Pennsylvania that day. I want to be there, but.
That's all right, there'll be many more to come.
Yeah, I get it.
Pat,
We need to, our residents, especially our landlords, need to look at the recycling bins again.
trouble again,
Yeah, after Amnesty Day, we're trending back upward with a lot of people just throwing their garbage in the green bins. And it's not good.
that's not good.
So, for the board, we need to, I was talking with Kevin, we do need to look at the permitting process for some events. So we need to probably do that sooner rather than later.
We should do that. And we should,
Oh, just one thing I wanted to mention in reference to, I'm having a blank, Amber's,
Yeah.
what's the name of it?
Artisan.
There we go. But like a lot of times she said she'll have over 75 blah blah vendors. She has like that many in there already. And I think people are thinking they're gonna have 75 booths outside. You know, that's not the case.
yeah,
And I think parking and stuff is still gonna be an issue. But she has X amount of vendors inside the store already. It just seems like an exorbitant amount when it's not.
Codes and fire have been working with her and the building owner, and they are working things out.
good.
So
Good.
they have got a plan and they're working it. So,
You know, I just don't want to see her not be able to do something.
no,
Just because of wording.
they're working
I
on
know
it.
she's a little bit, you know.
It's exciting that she wants to bring these things. to the
Yeah,
village. So we wanted
let's
to
not
keep taking
stop
it.
her, but make sure that we're doing things appropriate.
Yes, they're working with her, the building owner. It's on us to figure out the permitting thing. But that's not stopping her from being able to do what she needs to do. Okay.
Good.
Last thing is with all the events, we do have parking going to be an issue. I know. The elementary school and the intermediate school are doing parking refurbishment and enlargement projects this summer. They have to do it when the kids are out, so that only leaves the summer. So there have been some folks that said we should have told them, no, one, it's not our purview to
Right.
tell them no, and
Correct.
two, they gotta do it. And
It'll
during the
make things
summer,
better, yeah.
right,
And it's gonna make things better in the long term, so short-term pain, long-term gain.
right, but there is gonna be a parking meeting, and then Kevin, you said you're gonna attend that
I will.
on Thursday.
Definitely.
With most of the interested parties to make sure we have a seamless summer for all the events that we have going on. So.
Good. I'll be there for the beginning of that, but I have a work town hall after. My only thing is in piggybacking on the garbage thing. I've been speaking with a guy whose family owned a waste removal service that actually just sold the Syracuse haulers. And he has a lot of insight, and a lot of thoughts about it, and we talked about it, and if we were to do it, he actually does think that the electric truck is the way to go, just because there's no hydraulics. There's no, all the things that tend to fail on the big trucks aren't there. He said the city's been using them pretty well. They get about 6 hours on a charge. So for the village, I think that would be adequate if we did it in 2 days. And I'm still in discussions with Cortland about maybe doing something with them. So got potential, but I'm going to ask him at some point to come either in person or via Zoom to one of our work sessions so we can answer questions about all this stuff. But he said definitely buy the cans.
Yeah, I know we had talked about at the last meeting, our staff has been understaffed the last couple of weeks for a lot of different things, so they're gonna get us some things next month, so.
Okay, before we go to the executive session, talk about personnel matter. Questions from the media? Kevin or Margaret?
I just want to make sure that I understand what's going on with the river trail. So right now, you guys are just putting out a request for bids on the work that needs to be done?
A request for quote, yeah, just to kind of
The design work.
like basically design work.
In other words, it's the right to RFP.
Okay,
We don't know enough to write a smart RFP.
yeah,
That's what this is for.
okay.
Kevin?
I actually had some questions for the river trail. So you guys don't really know what you want to do with the river trail yet?
I mean, we have a general sense, but we won't know until we have, the engineering work done. They've done, years ago, they did engineering and they had it all done, but times have changed, properties changed hands, and we just need to bring in someone to, give us a more fleshed out concept.
Is it basically just to see if what use you could have for the trail?
Because I didn't.
To see what sort of use you could have for the trail? Is that what the RF?
Oh, no, we know what it would be used for. It's more or less where it would go, does it have to be raised platform here? Can it be just concrete? Can it be, macadam? What,
8 foot wide, 10 feet wide, does it have lights?
Right.
How high are the rails, where your access point's gonna be, handicapped accessible, can you drive a little electric golf cart on it in case somebody falls down, so the fire department can haul somebody off, that kind of thing. Where would you use cameras and where, blah, blah, blah. Is it Trex, is it pressure treated, is it asphalt, is it concrete? Are you gonna use augers, or are you gonna put pylons in, are you gonna do cantilevered off of some of the rocks? All kinds of stuff that, I can come up with, but it sure the hell doesn't mean it's gonna be correct.
Yes, basically, the village has a strong vision, has had one for quite some time in many different formats, but this RFQ is to get a stronger conceptual plan that is something that could actually be brought into reality.
There you go. Well said.
That'll work.
And Kevin, it'll be looked at in phases.
Okay. That's what was gonna be my next question. So how long, where is the river trail located? Is it behind the buildings on your Tiafno River? Is that where I'm?
Well, it's along the river, but that's part of what we're scoping out is what phases we would break it into and.
Okay. Do you happen to know how long the river trail is? I thought I heard someone say a half mile.
Well, no,
We own it.
we own a half a mile. It goes from Durkee Park, hopefully all the way down to Yeaman
Oh,
Park.
okay.
That's like 2.5 to 3 miles all told, but we would never do all that at once.
Well, that's a
So you couldn't afford it.
combined municipality project.
Yeah, because now you gotta get Portland involved and Portlandville and
And you're hoping to have a cap of 10K for the contractor who won the RFQ? Is that what you're hoping for? Is that what the resolution was?
plan is to not exceed that, to get an RFQ written. They would write the RFP actually.
And then is the jury still out on what money you guys want to use for that?
We gotta win it.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
we're gonna look for money from the consolidated funding application.
Mhm.
And potentially money from the DRI. So, and there's also other funds, federal funds. Yeah, there's a lot of different funding streams that we can look at, but we need this part done first.
If you have this, it gives you a better handle and more gravitas to win those other contracts or an award grants from other areas. The village can't do it on our own. We don't have the tax money, that kind of stuff. So we definitely need to get grants.
gotcha. All right, that's it for me, Hal. Thank you.
That's it. All right,
Good night.
very good. Yeah. That's all right. It'll be on display in a very special place. All right, based on that, we do need to go into executive session to talk about personnel issue. Per New York State Public Officers Law, Article 7, Section 105, and this would be pretty much at 7 o'clock. If we have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.